You can come back from that. You can't come back from backhanding your own mom.
Yeah.
That's the Rubicon.
Yeah.
He's not Kylo Ren. He's the Emperor now. It's like, oh, man. You're done, son. You backhanded your mom. Hail, Internet. It's Paul. It's Matt. The Dork Lords. We're here talking about The Expanse. Season 5, Episodes 7 and 8. Oyedeng and Hard Vacuum. Oyedeng is translated as goodbye in Belter language, which is very fitting for that episode.
Yes.
We open Episode 7 with a flashback to happier times for Naomi. She and Marco were raising little baby Philip together. We end Episode 8 with a scene on Drummer's ship. Marco's crew member, I forgot her name, but she's been assigned to Drummer's ship to keep them in line. She tells Drummer that, they're not going to go answer Naomi's distress call, mainly because Naomi is dead, which we know she's not, but according to them, they think she's dead. Yes. Drummer's furious that she's not being allowed to go and rescue Naomi. She returns to her cabin. She opens that bottle that she was saving for the return with Ash, which is never going to happen anyway. And then, right at the very end there, Marco's stand-in notices the distress call has changed. And it's like, what? And so it's like, the question is, did Naomi change it? And we end on that.
Yeah,
so,
Corral, who you're talking about, she also notices and is like, what? That's impossible. Whoa, she's dead.
Yeah, right. It's impossible. Before we launch into what is primarily, I mean, not exclusively, but primarily two Naomi-centric episodes, what did you think, good sir?
I like these episodes a lot. I like how this whole series shows how it pays off to have constraints on characters. So even though everybody's jumping around in space, the fact that they don't have artificial gravity, they have to use like other means, even though obviously on the production sets they have gravity, and they don't have force fields, and they their weapons they have are just sort of adaptations from the weapons that we're already familiar with. And when they have to deal with space, they really try to deal with space.
Yeah, it becomes its own story element, really, is dealing with the environment. We see a lot of that, especially in Episode 8, where Naomi tries to figure out. It felt a lot like the movie The Martian, Matt Damon.
Yeah. He signs the shit out of that.
Exactly. She's got to figure, like, okay, that didn't work. This didn't work. How do I do this? It's compelling to watch.
Yeah.
And there's some quality scenes here too, not just action-wise, but there was some great dialogue, well executed.
Yeah.
By the end of Episode 8, it looks like we were comparing theories on what we thought was Philip's arc, and it looks like your theory is more likely to happen than mine. So I was like, he's on a Kylo Ren arc. He's gonna get redeemed. You were like, he's too far gone, and he's just gonna.
I was an episode ahead of you at that time.
Yeah.
When,
okay.
When
you had a little more info.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. When he slapped his own mother.
Oh man. So at first, my theory in Episode 7 is looking up. Right, so Naomi and Philip, they have a cry together.
Yeah.
They're holding each other. I'm like, okay, here's the redemption. It's coming, baby. Then Marco is like, he feels jealous that Naomi's trying to take Philip away from him, and so he's a dick to Philip. I'm like, here we go. It's all happening. And then somewhere in there, the tables turn.
Well, it was when he's being a dick to him.
Philip.
That's what did it.
That's what did it.
Somehow he thought like, he's going to divide it. No. He's now afraid that he's going to lose the only parent that he's always had.
And so, it culminates in Philip backhanding his mom.
Yep.
What? Like, of all the terrible things on this show, murder, genocide, war, I don't know anything's worse than Philip backhanding his own mother.
Yeah. When he let that,
you don't do that.
Yeah, when he let that co-worker or whatever die out in space, that you can come back from that.
You can come back from that. You can't come back from backhanding your own mom.
Yeah,
that's the Rubicon.
Yeah.
He's not Kylo Ren. He's the Emperor now. It's like, oh man, you're done, son. You backhanded your mom.
Can you accept that easier than you can accept Luke?
Yep. So then, just to boop. So Naomi's like, oh, you backhanded me? Well, watch me destroy your life. Now, that's not her intent, but it's in practice what happens. Philip's going to need a ton of therapy because basically he backhands her, and then in his mind, she commits suicide because he backhanded her, right? I mean, good luck. Good luck with that guilt. So on her way out, she was like, F you. So she, I mean, again, she wasn't saying F you.
No, she wasn't.
But I'll just say, and I mean, I assume at some point he's going to find out she's alive. But in this time,
they have to.
Philip is like, I am the terrible person she said I was. So she realizes, Marco has fitted her ship, the Chetzemoka, with a bunch of explosives, and it's on autopilot, and it's got her a simulated distress call. And so he's going to send it out and then blow up the Rocinante that way.
Yes.
When they come to answer the distress call. Naomi realizes the only chance she's got to leave this ship and save her friends is to find a way to get on to the Chetzemoka. So she does this seemingly suicidal, Belter's space, get spaced. That's how they die. So she's ready to space herself, and then Sin shows up. They had this really heartfelt conversation where Sin, I saw you contemplating suicide all those years ago.
Yep.
And
conveniently.
You're right. It is very convenient, actually. Oh, okay, that worked out. But I liked his bit too, where he confesses. He's like, "I helped hide your son from you.
Yes,
I thought I was doing the right thing. That you'd come back, and I was wrong. And it's really well played. I mean, kudos. Anyway, I did mention that I matted Sin, but for different reasons. Last time we talked, I was like, "Oh, he's arguing with Marco way too much. Marco's going to kill him off."
You're mad because he died because not at Marco's hand. That's what you're mad at.
Well, I'm just saying, I mad at him, but I didn't mad him for the right
that's why I was
reasons,
pressuring you. I was pressuring you for a number of reasons as soon as we started to who you're going to mat. Because this show...
Yep. So Sin sees her at the airlock, realizes she just got backhanded by her son.
Yep.
She's going to commit suicide. He goes to stop her, and then that's this moment. It's like, damn.
Yeah, you shouldn't have done that.
She's like, shouldn't have come.
Yep.
I'm going to kill you now.
Yeah.
Basically, I'm murdering you.
Yeah.
I can't help it. You did it. It's you.
There's no way. Wow. There's no way she could implement her plan without that. There's no way.
But I mean, there would be some person would think, okay, I can't do the plan then. I'm not going to kill this guy to activate my plan.
There's no way.
Nope,
there's no way.
I'm committed.
There's no way. No.
She does it. He dies.
Yes.
And she does this little injection. She manages. They tried to stay true to what exposure would do to you in space.
Yeah.
She takes a lot of damage, but manages to get to the Chetzemoka at the end of the episode. Philip and Mark, everybody thinks she's dead. As we see later, they're like, "Oh yeah, Naomi's dead." I would think if I'm Marco and I hear the story from Philip that she just Sin tried to stop her, but then she just jumped out.
Yeah.
I would think there'd be some part of me that would think, okay, she killed Sin to do this, just to commit suicide. She could have committed suicide at any time. Why now? Why was it so important now? It just so happens that the Chetzemoka was leaving. I might have put two and two together. I'm not saying it's a done deal. Like, of course you would think that, but I would think maybe she was attempting to get to the Chetzemoka, perhaps. I don't know. Right? Yeah? No?
No.
Okay.
No.
They're like, she committed suicide. That's it.
Yeah.
So
the stronger emotional thing is, oh, you wanna, you wanna save your son. We're gonna find out. We're gonna show your son who is who, and see who he picks. And so, at that point, he could think, whoa, would she eject herself into space to join? Or the more rational thing is, like, wow, she's really upset, and
yeah.
so
No, I get it. I'm not saying that they should have figured it out. I'm just thinking maybe there could have been a moment of like, little suspicion. But there's no suspicion. They're like, nope, she's dead.
No. They want to have an atmosphere on that ship just so that, when they come in, they're not going to be like, wait a minute, there's no atmosphere on that ship.
Good point. There is breathable air on the ship.
Yeah.
Maybe it's one of those things. I mean, you could rationalize it. Like, oh, that's just the way it's a normal ship function. You'd have to like really tear it apart to get the life support.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe they're maybe they can scan for that or tell like what.
Right.
So it seems to be working.
But it's handy in this case because otherwise she'd just be dead.
Yes.
I made it dead. So she realizes the ship is just stripped down. They took everything for parts.
Right.
And so this, she has to science the shit out of it. There's this distress call. She's grievously injured from her space flight. And, I mean, she's on this floating bomb. I mean, basically, unless she figures something out, she has zero chance of surviving.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody who comes close to her, she'll blow up.
Right.
So she's like, oh, great. Not just the Rocinante, but anybody.
Yeah.
If anybody shows up, I'm dead.
Yep.
So, she's on this race against the clock to try to figure out how to keep just keep anybody away forever. I'm not sure how you solve this problem. They're going to solve it, obviously, but and in fact, it occurred to me. I think probably one of the tension-building things that's going to come in the next 2 episodes is Rocinante's coming, as we know. Rocinante and Alex and Bobby are coming to the fake distress call.
Yes.
At some point, she's going to have to start thinking, do I just blow the ship up now to save my friends? Or do I let them try to dock? You know what I mean? Like in other words, if I'm gonna die anyway, I might as well just blow myself up now than take everybody that I love with me.
Right.
So I think that's going to come into play. Like
it might.
This button, whatever.
It might. I guess you don't think there's much chance that they'll hear the message that she altered and.
Boy, that's a big leap. I'll say this, like she. So.
Oh, you like that other leap, but this leap though.
So what she does is she does the only thing she can. She can't turn the message off apparently. But she can interrupt it.
Apparently, she interrupts it a couple of times and then turns it off.
Oh, then she turns it off. Okay. So she interrupts it to say, like, she gets rid of some of the text. So if you just were to look at the text, it's like, Naomi is in control or something like that.
Yes.
And then it shuts off. But, I don't know. I don't think I would get from that, well, we better not go then. All right, turn around, leave her alone. I'm sure she's fine. You know what I mean? Like, it would make me more interested. Be like, well, I wonder what's going on with that. Like, in other words, maybe you think, like somebody there on the drummer ship did, oh, is she alive? Well, okay, you're going to go, right? You're going to be like, let's go check out Naomi and make sure she's okay. Oh, yeah, we blew everything up. So I don't know that it helps. It informs your, like, oh, everything's not as it seems, I suppose. But it doesn't really keep you from like, well, we shouldn't go then. Turn around. So I don't know. Yeah, I think they're obviously she is. I can't imagine that the ship blows up with her in it. So
no, I can't imagine that either.
So as they get closer, somehow they'll be suspicious,
right.
And I guess there'll be the suspicion, and then she's going to come up with another little cool like signaling with lights or something like that they'll be able to be like, oh, get away.
Or maybe she finds a way to eject herself into space,
do a second spacewalk that close to the first one and be like, whew.
But at least she's protected from the severe damage that she incurred from going without a suit.
That was kind of cool. She finds a suit, but it doesn't have any oxygen.
Right.
But it's airtight.
Yes.
So she has all the oxygen that's in the suit when she puts it on.
Right.
And so she keeps using it over and over again for the, I've got 2 minutes or whatever. So
Yeah.
that's kind of cool. And agreed. She could certainly do that. She could spacewalk in that and not die terribly from exposure.
Yes, it's just like suffocating. Somebody pick me up, please.
Yes. One of the things we see, so Holden and Alex and Bobby are converging on the Rocinante.
Yes.
Amos is still, we'll talk about Amos in a second, but he's still back on Earth.
Yes.
But your crew, at least most of the crew, is coming back together to explode. Something we learn from, so Holden, they're chasing the Zemea.
Yes.
The Zemea is the ship that took the protomolecule. They're hunting after it. It's like a little hide and seek. They find it. There's a cool space battle. They have to do like a spin, and they're shooting. Anyway, it looks cool. And then they disable the Zemea.
Yes.
Oddly, instead of just because Holden's like, we're going to destroy the protomolecule, but when the moment comes, he's like, let's board. He wants to find out about Naomi. So he thinks maybe there's information about the whereabouts of Naomi on the ship. But anyway, don't get a chance. Ship blows up.
Yep.
Again, there's zero chance that the protomolecule is destroyed. So
yes.
they think maybe it is. So they're like, all right, let's go get to Naomi.
Yeah.
But no, that protomolecule is just fine.
Yes.
And I think we get a hint as to what's happening there from Monica. I think Monica, right? She's the reporter.
Ah.
She's talking to Holden, and she's like, hey, there's no way Marco could have paid the Martians for those ships. There's zero chance. So he had to have something to offer them in exchange for those ships. Holden's like, protomolecule. She's like, yeah. And apparently there was a scientist, one of the protogen scientists that disappeared at the same time. So what it sounds, I think we can most likely say is Marco has said, okay, you give me these ships, I give you a protomolecule and a scientist who can work with it. And that's the deal. So it sounds like some faction of Mars, like that Duarte guy, are going to get a protomolecule and a scientist to help them figure out what it does. And that's a season 6 thing, I guess, right? They don't have time
I would think, yeah.
right now.
It's funny. I've a friend of mine who's read the books has given me some color into what will occur.
Okay.
And while I don't know the books, I haven't read them myself. So what you're saying sounds plausible.
Okay. All right. She just kind of spells it out there, and then and then it kind of gets dropped. But you're like, okay, that makes sense. That's probably what's happening here. It does make me think. I think our commenter Justin a couple episodes back was referring to this. Like, I think he asked about the protomolecule and what it might be doing. I think part of his intent of his question was, will they find time to deal with the protomolecule in this season? And I don't know that they will. Maybe it's at a very end credit of the last episode or something, where we've resolved this. Naomi's back with the crew. Amos has somehow found his way back, and the little stinger is, oh, this guy's got the protomolecule and he's plugging it in and it's making blue lights. I don't know, something like that.
They've got a lot to do in 2 episodes.
And also the that notion that Holden, when Fred was still alive and they're arguing about the protomolecule, and Holden said like, oh yeah, every time I go through the ring gates, I feel the anger from this unknown society. There's a tipping point where that's got to come into play too. But again, is that this season? Again, maybe one last scene of like random ship, like let's go through the ring, blah, and it's like danger to come or something like that.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I can't imagine that
just
being
not
the case.
enough time.
Though. I don't think there is.
I was under the assumption early in the season that Marco would die by the end of the season, but I don't know that that's true either now. I could see Marco surviving into season 6. I don't know.
Right. I have, so I know how Marco, what his fate is in the books.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But it's possible the way this is rolling out that might not happen.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Nice scene there too, where Naomi is hearing Alex like going, "We're on our way, don't you worry." He's like, "Stay away." Quickly, we've got Avasarala and Delgado are on opposite sides. They have opposite theories of how to deal with Marco's attack.
Yes.
Right. So the new leader, pastor guy, is like, "Hey, I want advice." And Delgado's like, "Blow up the space station."
Yeah.
Avasarala's like, "Don't blow up the space station."
Avasarala is saying, "Look at this, come on, Delgado, this situation's going to happen." Like, "Oh, we don't know that's going to happen." Boom, terrible. Okay, you were right. Okay, well, like, so what do we do? Oh, let's bomb them. And like Avasarala's, well, that might not be good. Well, shut up.
That's right. I was so wrong not listening to you before that I'm doubling down on not listening to you again.
Yes. Yeah, we've got this good thing going where you end up being right and then I apologize.
Yeah, so
let's do it again.
Going.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where that leaves off, though. They haven't actually instituted an attack.
Right.
It's left to the leader to decide. He's like,
Right.
But at least he's not just immediately doing it. He's thinking about it. So
yeah, it's quite possible. I mean, it certainly seems plausible that this issue might be the thing that causes Avasarala to be even more in command.
I got you.
Either she stages some sort of coup or something, which doesn't seem quite right because people might contest it. Because you'd think that most of the people would be sort of blood hungry, or perhaps some action occurs and blows up in their face, and then she needs to
take over. So the idea would be if they attack the station, they're just going to make every Belter hate them.
Yeah,
they'll kill a lot of innocent civilians.
It's like they have a chance now of if they could, although it's kind of hard to imagine how, but if they could get Marco, they might be able to diffuse this tension.
They're doing a manhunt for Marco, and we're seeing from Drummer's point of view, they're like scavenging the wreck of a faction that was opposing Marco.
Yes.
And so they're seeing that like Marco's like, all right, kill them off. The rationale is, well, they said they wouldn't join us, and then they were attacking a ship that we're aligned with, so we had to kill them.
Yeah.
Basically, like, we just found an excuse and we killed them.
Yeah.
And so you've got, then, there are, at this moment, factions that are only with Marco out of fear, and they realize he's a bad dude.
Right.
And would rather not be with him. But if you blow up a whole bunch of Belter civilians, they're going to be like, screw it. All right. Earth's our enemy. So meanwhile, Amos and Peaches make it eventually to Baltimore. Do a little traveling, a little talking. Peaches is now flushed out all the suppressants from her system. Her mods are fully online.
Yep.
They
you see Eric again.
They talk to Eric. Eric's like, no, this is great. King of my kingdom. like, what are you talking about? This place is in ruins. I've had worse. Like, no, you haven't. You're an idiot. So
I think that's a little extreme characterization.
Okay, I think that's exactly the way it goes down. That was a quote.
Considering the fact that she just had to tell him one little story about a crazy prisoner,
story,
and he's like, let's go.
I get a lot out of that. All right, we're out of here. So, so the idea is she has connections, family connections, back to Lake Winnipesaukee, which is up in New Hampshire, and so Eric is going to supply them, basically, and they're going to head to go get to a ship to get the hell off Earth.
Right, yes.
At Lake Winnipesaukee, which, by the way, this is a little weird, but okay, so remember a couple episodes ago, Amos goes to Chesapeake Bay, the Chesapeake Bay facility, and I said, oh yeah, I used to spend my summers at Chesapeake Bay.
Oh yeah?
That was my granddad. Lake Winnipesaukee. I've been to Lake Winnipesaukee as well.
Okay.
So right. I'm like, is this like a thinly veiled show about my life? Okay, here's what we'll know. Next episode, if they're like, they get to Winnipesaukee, and they're like, oh, the shuttle left. You know what? There's only one more shuttle I know of. It's on the Chattahoochee River. And if they do that, then I'm like, oh my God, this show's actually about me. All right, anyway. I'm not
Holding your breath?
on that one.
No?
Yeah. As I leap. Oh, actually, you're not supposed to hold your breath. You're supposed to breathe out.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want your lungs to explode.
Yeah, you wouldn't want that. I know that now. Yeah. So when I'm in that situation, I'm going to be like, I remember Naomi. She survived this. I'm sure this will be fine. We've left off with Holden, Alex, and Bobby are converging on Naomi. Unfortunately, at the moment, they got to figure out how not to all blow up when they get there. And Amos is heading to get a ride off Earth. And Avasarala is contemplating, the government is contemplating an attack on a space station.
Yes.
So that's where we're leaving it off at episode 8. Only 2 episodes left, so a lot to wrap up.
Yeah.
In that time. We will be back talking about episodes 9 and 10, probably individually. And then we're also going to be talking about WandaVision, which just had episode 3 drop. Yes. Thanks as always, Paul. Appreciate it, good sir.
Certainly.
And we'll talk soon.
All right, sir.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.